All right, here we go. Let's get started. First of all, welcome to Gnosis Validator Meetup and July version. So my name is Arman. I'm doing a validator lead at Gnosis Chain. I'm gonna give a short update about Gnosis Chain. Firstly, as you know, our DAppNet campaign still goes on. If you consider to buy a DAppNet with this campaign, we will give a free GNA for free, and then you can start your validator experience, your validator journey on Gnosis Chain. Please consider it. After the main product announcement, I'm gonna tell you what's going on the Gnosis Chain validator and staking ecosystem. As you know, yesterday, Stakewise team launched Stakewise version 3, and with this product, with this amazing update, you can start a own vault on Stakewise and earn a more reward. Or if you want to basic staking, you can use the Stakewise version 3. Next week, we are organizing a call with the Stakewise team member. Kirill will join us, and he will tell us what is the newest updates, what is the newest product on Stakewise. So yeah, please join us on next week on Tuesday. And another update. Also, in this call, we will talk about how to join a Shutterized Gnosis Chain as a validator. After my presentation, Kamil and Luis will join us. Yeah, as you know, Shutterized Gnosis Chain launched 2 weeks ago. Everything goes smoothly, and Luis will share more updates about the current status. Yeah, overall DVT testing is continuing. We added Hopper team as a test member because they are using a DAppNet, and DAppNet team also preparing a package to Hopper team usage. Next week, we will continue to some experimental testing stuff, and then we want to share some reports about the testing process on publicly, of course. I will share more info about that. And Nethermind side, on client side, Nethermind team shared Sage, newest version of Sage, and Nethermind client released. If you're using a Nethermind as a client, please update your client as much as possible, as soon as possible. Sorry. Also, Aragon also shared a version 3 version. This version is a first alpha version of Aragon version 3. It is running very smoothly. I highly recommend the playing and testing and experimenting Aragon version 3. Also on the client side, Red progress still continue. We sent Lion sent a pull request to Red team, and also he's testing some DevNet stuff. Genesis blocks on DevNet is worked, which is super nice, but we need more time to test. On the Hopper side, with a GIP 98, we sent a 500 GNO to existing Hopper node operators, and yesterday they announced the claim page, We also want to organize a informative call for the existing Hopper nodes to introducing Gnosis Chain staking and validator ecosystem. I will share more info about that probably 2 weeks later. We will announce publicly. If you are a Hopper node operator, just let me know. We would love to introduce our chain to you. Yeah, another works. Sorry. Last week, we announced validategnosis.com. Last week or this week, I can't remember now. Sorry. Yeah, with this website, you can show a different type of level. For example, if you are a beginner level user, you can show some staking options. If you are an intermediate level user, which means you know what is validating. You know you have a machine, or you want to buy a machine, and then you need to set up your node. You are an intermediate level user. You can see a lots of different options, such as clients, such as tools, and simplifying simplifying your tools. Or if you are advanced level, we share some resources, tools to make simplifying your node operation, or maybe if you want to play some experimental stuff, for example, your mini computer, or if you want to use a Docker, you can see a lot of different options in this website. Please check it out. I will share you here validategnosis.com. Yeah. Another nice update. Yeah, we are building a new analytics engine with our teams, the DevOps team and the blockchain data analysts. With this tool, which is called Gnosis Cerebro Analytics, we will have a validator track tool, and we will have a data engine tool. With this analytics product, we will have we want to explore on the Gnosis chain and Gnosis Pay, Circles, and Metri, which is super important. After this tool, we will build a different type of products, such as D49 or any kind of similar to Grafana, but this kind of different UI. I will share more info about that, but we need we achieve the biggest part on this work. You can see sorry. I will share the GitHub link here after my part. You can see all the links publicly. And yeah, the Gnosis forum and the GIP site. As you know, the Gnosis chain explorer, hosted by Beacon Chain, proposal passed. They launch their version 3 product on Holeshki. End of the year, we will use their product on Gnosis chain site. I'll share more info about that, but yeah, their service is continuing, which is super nice. Yeah, lots of stuff, lots of updates, lots of good improvements. I want to hand over to Luis from Shutter. I also see Yannick here. Hello, guys. Invite to speak. Yes. Luis. Yeah, I close my streaming. First of all, welcome. Welcome again. And if you want to share your current status of Shutterized Beacon Chain, and we would like to listen what's going on the Shutterized Beacon Chain side. Welcome.
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, great. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. The way this will work is I'll give a very short update and mini recap on our Shutterized Gnosis Chain mainnet launch and sort of a quick run through our the dashboard, internal dashboard. And then we'll have Kamil from Nethermind, who will attempt to do an actual live mini demo, sort of trying to upgrade an existing Chiaro validator to be a shutterized validator. Um, so, so yeah, let me try to share my screen. Does that work?
Oh, yes.
How do I present again? Am I stupid? Slideshow.
Good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Um, just to recap, for I think most of the people here will probably know, but Shutter is a threshold encryption DKG, um, uh, which hopefully can promote base neutrality, information symmetry, accessibility by encrypting transactions, by also encrypting DAO votes and snapshot. And we also think it's more than just a technology; it's also a movement to again to bring back some of these actual values of public blockchains that we think that's what it's for. So censorship resistance, um, level playing field. Um, so we think it's a small but important part towards that vision. And just to highlight one of these issues with we're tackling is the censorship. So we have it was a big issue in the past with validator censoring, and the validators have on Ethereum mainnet, validators have gone down. The amount of censoring validators have gone down, but in the meantime, and sort of unbeknownst to many, now the other transaction supply chain intermediaries in this sort of relatively complex transaction supply chain um, are censoring as well. And sort of it only needs kind of one of these to censor for a transaction to be censored, right? So builder level censorship is actually sort of very high. It's at around 60%. Um, and then front running and malicious MEV is what we're building Shutter to um, fight against, and hopefully by encrypting transactions, we'll are one step closer to having no front running and a more real-time censorship resistant and more information symmetric sort of transaction environment. And we think it's all connected. We think sort of base neutrality connects to accessibility, connects to user agency. At ECC, we had this amazing regen village workshop where I think all of this came together with also the presentation from Gnosis AI Labs and Circles, which I think is the same principle of let's let's increase accessibility for everyone with low fees, with sort of Circles with the enabling money creation for everyone. And we think again with Shutter kind of leveling the playing field, increasing accessibility, increasing mempool accessibility to everyone. We think it's in the same spirit. Just to recap, Shutterized Gnosis Chain is this trilateral collaboration between Shutter, Gnosis Chain, and Nethermind. Um, we have encrypted transactions, uh, um, because the validators have to commit to including transactions while they're still encrypted. They and only afterwards do we decrypt. And the decryption happens in this decentralized way with the keepers. That's how we protect from fraud, running censorship. Um, yeah, I'll jump over this because I think the focus here is on what's currently happening and what the current status is. And we're live on mainnet since ECC. We sort of set that deadline quite early on, and we managed to keep inside it. And we think it was a success to launch at ECC. And also we did many events around it and activations and meetups and the talk at the event from our colleague Fred ACC. However, there was some stability issues with, uh, and some of it we would say, to be honest, during maybe because it was sort of meeting the deadline, but on the other side it was a little bit rushed. What happened is there were some stability issues related to the keeper peer-to-peer connectivity, and then Nethermind had to downgrade the client again and this then again led to the already relatively small amount of Shutterized validators being temporarily even smaller. Um, so that led to a bunch of, I would say, UX issues uh, related to Shutter. And in general, we think the release was kept. We did launch on mainnet, but we didn't really manage to build everything around it that would be nice to have to show actually what's happening underneath. And in general, sort of we are starting very very small with only 5% of the validators currently being shutterized, and that is sort of purposely kept small by Nethermind and the two other teams working on this, so that we can keep testing and keep and contain any potential failures. Even though we think it's actually, if Shutter fails, it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't affect the other the rest of the system. But so we want to keep it small initially, start conservatively and keep testing and slowly increase those validators as we observe higher stability now, hopefully now that issues are being resolved. So in that spirit, we just released, I think just a couple of hours ago, we just released a new keeper release, which should significantly improve that peer-to-peer connectivity. And Nethermind also has fixed those issues that I was talking about. So for the next steps, and this is quite early, we're still scoping out what exactly we'll release. But essentially, we want to release another sort of release, kind of affectionately codenamed the engine room, to say we want to give more transparency into what's happening inside the system. And it's also focused on stability and yeah. So we want to have kind of full stability. We want to have uh, 10%, at least 10% of all the validators to be shutterized in the near term, so that the average transaction inclusion time is max 50 seconds, which is still not optimal, but one step closer to kind of good UX. We want to have 21 keepers. Currently, we have 7. We want to have a comprehensive system dashboard with sort of 2 tabs. One showing the global view on the system, on the keepers and the validators, and one showing another tab where users can individually inspect their current transaction and what's happening to it and when will the keys be released for it, because that's the feedback we got, is that if I send a transaction, there's essentially it sometimes just it at some point just gets um, built into the block, but because it can take quite a while, there's no in that time there's no transparency what's happening to the transaction, and with that sort of little gadget then where you can input where you can see what's happening to the transaction, I think that'll increase the UX kind of for the advanced user who wants to see what's happening to the transaction. And then in the medium term, that there will be many things to make it better and more natively integrated. We want to obviously have 100% of validators shutterized. We want to have an Aragon implementation. We had a meeting with Paolo and a colleague in at ECC, and we're starting that integration to have it also be in Aragon. We want to include staking and slashing and make it in general, make it more mandatory and more make the consequences for sort of Shutterized validators make it more mandatory. We want to have a more default RPC integration. We want to have native integrations where the encryption actually happens inside the DEX or DApp. And we want to have a DApp node package for keepers. It's something that the DApp node team is already working on, and other things and more things. So yeah. If you want to try it out, you can use this RPC to try it out. And there's also a demo DApp available, which you can see in the blog post, in the launch blog post. And again, sort of caveats, we still have these long transaction inclusion times, and there still might be other things going wrong in this sort of still quite early times. If you are a validator, obviously this is a validator meetup, so I think there might be one or two validators in here. Please do join this group if you're not already part of it, where we are, where there's more material and kind of can be support and sort of just chatting about this. Um, uh, if you're interested in running the Shutterized version of Nethermind. And again, we still want to keep the amount of validators who are to Shutterized still for now, because we're still testing, and so we currently we're not immediately sort of recommending people to run it Shutterized, but very soon we want to have more than those 5%. And then if you are, or if you know any wallet and dApp developers, please contact us, and we would love to talk about how to integrate the encryption step natively in the dApp. And then I just want to run you guys quickly through this early version of our dashboard, um, and there is not going to be, but yeah. So here essentially you can see the keepers and their status and their uh, latencies. So this will be one part of it. There, here you can see how many keepers are online. We can see message validation time, kind of latency, libp2p connections, and this is where we had those issues, and we're hoping to have that be improved a lot. Yeah, and here is another view on this peer-to-peer connectivity topic. Again, I think here we can already see that it improved. This was an anomaly here that are now fixed here. Yeah, and that's just a sneak peek. I think we'll be able to share this this private Grafana dashboard if someone is interested in the very near future. But the ultimate goal is to have a fully public dashboard which offers all kinds of data and insights into the general system, and especially the validators and the keepers, and how long will the um, how long on average is it going to take for your transaction to be included? How many shutterized transactions are there? What's the percentage of shutterized validators versus non-shutterized validators? All of this data should be on the dashboard, and then again, this separate tab where users can inspect individual transactions in sort of real time and see, okay, I've sent a transaction in, and this is my encrypted transaction with the transaction hash, and I can see once a key is released for this encrypted transaction, and then I'll be able to see that it is built into the block, and then I'll see the plain test text transaction afterwards in its result. So that's a feature that So that's the gist of it. And I think from here, I think I want like to hand it over to Kamil, who again will sort of attempt this live demo of upgrading a Nethermind client, non-shutterized client to a shutterized client. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Luis. I think we have some screen recording issue right now. Everyone, I would like to ask to our audience, everyone can see the screen when Luis doing the presentation. You can share your response on the chat. Okay, anyway, okay, we can continue. No one can share any problem. Yeah, Kamil, you can go if you want.
Hi everyone, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, checking if everything works fine. Okay, welcome, hello everyone. My name is Kamil. I'm QA lead in a Nethermind Ethereum client. And what I want to showcase today is how easily you can transition your current validators into a Shutter supporting validators. So we'll share my screen. You can tell me if it works.
Right now it doesn't work.
Is it there?
I can see it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's kick off with what I want to showcase. So basically, everything wraps out around this Shutter Validator registration repository. It is very simple repository which consists only of two methods. So generation of signatures, which will be later used for a submission of your validator to a Shutter. So going step by step, you have a nice README on this repository, which tells you what to do step by step to accomplish a goal. So first of all, you need to have a fully functional node. Here we are mentioning one of the Nethermind versions which you can use for your Shutter for your node. But as Luis already mentioned, we are still working on that, and it is still on a experimental phase. But very soon we'll roll out a fully supporting version with Shutter support. So what you also need to do, you need to have your validator keys, and for the purpose of this live demonstration, I will use this validator. Yep. And also what you need to do, you need to have to register, you need to have your burner wallet. So I've created a separate wallet for that purpose to pay a fee for the registration, normal transaction fee, of course. And let's go step by step. So the most important part of the registration will be to prepare, to of course clone this repository, which I have on machine, on which I have this repository already in place. I will just enter it. And step by step, you need to create this environment file with those variables. So we'll start with it. And I have it already filled, so I will just copy paste it and we'll go one by one to explain you what every variable means. So EL endpoint is a JSON RPC endpoint of execution layer client. So in this case, for this demonstration, I used Nethermind, because this is the only implementation for now which have the Shutter support. And also we need to have any access to a CL JSON RPC with CL API, which is in this case Lodestar. You need to point to your validator keys directory. So this is a key store _dir. So you are pointing to your validator keys. Also, you need to provide your key store password. Of course, here I'm using my data, which I want to share with you, but this is a test validator on Chiado. As I mentioned, we also need to have a burner wallet. And for this wallet, we need to provide a seed and provide the address of this wallet. So those are these two variables. And later on, as I mentioned, this demonstration will be happening on Chiado chain. So I'm providing the name of the chain and its ID. Later on for Gnosis, you will just need to put a Gnosis here and here chain ID of Gnosis, which as I recall is 100. Those two variables are pointing to the registry of the Shutter validators. For now, this is a Chiado registry. And those two additional parameters, one for nonce, which should always be 0, and submission per second, it's 1 by default. But in case you are submitting a lot of validator keys, it might be better to increase that value to parallelize it a bit and make it slightly faster. And that's the thing which we need to fulfill before generating the keys. I will just simply save that file in a Shutter validator registration directory. Just to showcase you before we will move further, I have my node running in this Docker container. As you can see, we are processing blocks well. And if I will filter out my logs to find any Shutter related mentions, you will just simply find nothing, because for now this node is not registered. This validator is not registered. So right now, the two most important commands. First one will be the signature generation. So you just need to provide this command node, and it's of course in the README as well. And this command will, after a few moments, should generate us two files. One file is signed registrations.json, which will be used for registration later on, and validator info.json, which will be used for Nethermind client, to provide the configuration of a Nethermind client. And that was the submission generation. As you can see, it was pretty fast. I'm having only one validator key there. So for bigger validators, it might take a little bit more of time. And the next command, as per README as well, you need to execute a submit.js script, which is also very simple. Just to showcase you as well, we are using our burner wallet, so we can see that right now we have this balance. And right now, when I will move back to my virtual machine, copy paste that script, submit.js, hit enter, and submission is happening right now. It takes a few seconds, and you can see that the validator with this ID is submitted. When I will go to my MetaMask account, as you can see, my balance reduced, so we can just make sure in this way that transaction went well. And what now? So right now we are prepared. We are having two files. One was used for submission, and we have validator info.json. So as I mentioned, I'm using the Dockerized environment. So first of all, I need to copy this file to my volume. That's the small complexity of my setup, but in your setup, it might be easier. So I'm copying the validator info file to my volume. And right now I need to go to my Docker Compose setup. I'll just quickly open my Docker Compose. And here we have a commands which I'm using right now for Nethermind, and I need just to add 3 more flags to make sure that Shutter is working. And I'm just providing it right now. First one is Shutter enabled true, to instruct Shutter that it needs to be enabled right now after restart. Also, I need to instruct that it will be a validator, because we might not be a validator, we might want to have Shutter enabled. And the last one, the most important one, is to provide Shutter validator info file. It is this file. As you can see, the path is slightly different. Just don't be misled by that, because this is a path inside of my container. Yeah, this is the exact file which we generated just a few seconds ago. So right now, what I need to do is just to simply save the changes. Stop my container for a brief second, restart it, And right now, my Docker container, my Nethermind client is restarting. And if I will, as you can see, it's starting to catch up what it was missing for those brief few seconds. And if I will filter out right now the Shutter logs, you can see right now that we started the Shutter peer-to-peer. You just will be basically seeing the Shutter messages. Of course, more of them will appear whenever we will be building new block. So we will see that Shutter functionality will start to seek for the Shutterized transactions, and will start building block, also including the Shutterized transactions. And that would be all, because as I've mentioned at the very beginning, the registration process is very simple. And as you can see, my validator is right now transitioned to the Shutter. So it is just basically 2 commands and providing the proper flag story validator. And that's all. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Kamil, for this amazing presentation. If you have any questions, please share us. Yeah. Is it possible to register an existing validator?
Yeah. So this was the exact scenario. So it was like a existing validator. As you can see, it was created like it was created yesterday, and yeah, it was fully functioning as usual. And I've just, on your eyes, I would say, I just transitioned it from normal validator to the Shutter validator, Shutter supporting validator. Okay, like this. So it is very straightforward and pretty quickly.
Any other questions? Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, as I said before, first of all, thank you so much for participating the Gnosis Validator Meetup. Thank you so much for amazing presentation, Luis and Kamil. I want to just wait a second, a little bit more for if anyone have a question, just share it.
While we wait, thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much, Kamil, for jumping in sort of last minute, because he wasn't familiar with Shutterized Gnosis Chain before, and it's awesome that you were able to get up to speed so quickly and share this live demo. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome to see the practicality of it, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. That was a pleasure.
the one last announcement. Yeah, as I said before, as I said the beginning of the call, next week on Tuesday we have a call with the Stackwise team, and they will tell us their product, their version 3 features and options. And 2 weeks later, we also want to organize a Stackwise version 3 Vault specific call with the Stakesaurus. He will demonstrate how anyone can create a vault at the Stackwise. So yeah, thank you so much for everything. I will share more info about that. And have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.